Hello, Karthi.
Right.
Welcome to Galatta Plus.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this interview in English because one of Galatta Plus's things that all our local talent should reach all of India, hopefully all of the world.
Right.
So, thank you for doing that. And congratulations for 15 years.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is like a big moment because 15 years back, Paruthiveeran happened and you exploded. But before we start about that, I just want you to talk a little bit about something that you're a cause ambassador for, which is this lysosomal storage
Yes.
disease, which not many people know about.
Yeah.
Because, for example, people know about tuberculosis, cancer, polio, or education or all those things. But this is a very unique thing. So maybe we could just take 2 minutes and what is it? How do people prevent this from happening to them, or how can we help
Yeah.
for this?
So the LSDSS is a society formed by the parents who've been through this for their children, and not many people are aware of what it is. That's why it's called a rare disease. See, every cell has a process where it's alive, and there is an excretion for every time. Because of particular hormonal disorder, this excretion doesn't happen. It doesn't go out of the cell, and it stays within the cell. This could happen to any cell in the body. Like everything is a cell. Your eye is a cell, or an organ is a cell.
Right.
So it could happen. This disorder could happen anywhere in the body, and it can completely dampen your growth for a child. And it's very important to identify it as early as possible because there are so many varieties, more than 140 or 200 varieties, and only 6 have medication for it.
Right.
So it is an enzyme therapy, and there is only one company which gives that therapy free of cost. Otherwise, it's a very expensive process, and these children do not have proper growth. And for them to even do basic functions of life, they need to have corrective surgeries.
Right.
And these corrective surgeries also cannot be done by any other doctor. They have to know this disorder to treat them properly. So this came through Dr. Suresh, who's running the Mediscan, and he's also VHS's head right now.
Right.
So he's the one who knows Anna, and through my brother, this came up to me, and I've been with them for almost 10 years now.
Right.
And it's very sad. They have so many horror stories where people have come from Rajasthan not knowing what it is.
Right.
They've been staying here on the platform, just waiting for that one day in the year where doctors would come for an examination. And this normally, they say it happens due to marriage within the family, and it reoccurs. So people, without knowing that since one child is already affected, they want to have another normal child.
Right.
The other child also gets this. So there are not many people who are aware of it. And when they have something, it has to be diagnosed very, very early for them to have even a chance of having a normal life.
Right.
So I think the Mediscan Center has the special LSDSS. The VHS also has a LSDSS center,
right,
where people could go there for examination.
Right. So just to how does one know that one's child has this?
No, actually not.
You cannot know?
No. You
Okay.
have to go through a series of tests. The Mediscan is developing doctors or training doctors to get equipped in identifying this. There are very few people who really know this.
Right.
So Dr. Sujata is one of her, and she really took special care in understanding it first,
Okay,
and then training other doctors to treat the children.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Sure.
So now back to the movies.
Right.
So Paruthiveeran was released in 2007. Do you remember the first day of the shoot and
yeah.
what you did on the last day of the shoot?
First day of the shoot, all I had to do was sit on a kaithi cattle, and then just hit myself like that with a smile. So basically, Paruthiveeran is in the love mood.
Right.
And I just couldn't get it in the timing that he wanted. Then he made me just walk. I was just walking here and there. I was basically in costume, trying to get the vibe of the village. I'd just come back from US. I'd been with Mani sir for a year and a half. And then I'm in Madurai, where I'm totally an alien there. But I'm getting used to it. So it was just warm up for first 20 days, walking, montage shots, walking through, smiling, or just getting used to it. And it was film. So you have to be very conscious about the noise of the camera cranking and getting that action right, because Amir sir is very, very particular about each and every expression. That was the first day. And so the first dialogue was shot after 20 days. And that was the last day of the schedule. So and the last day was the climax, of course.
Oh, okay, that you shot last.
The last end of the film.
Right.
Where I come out and I'm beaten. Paruthiveeran is beaten to death. So that was the last.
Yeah. And that's a really unusual choice for a first film, because people usually
It was
kind
not
of...
a choice.
Oh, it was not a
It
choice.
was not a choice. It happened.
It happened, okay.
Yeah.
With certain exceptions like maybe Shivaji Ganeshan or Kamal Hassan, who kind of create an image that every film will be different. And so people go to their films to see oh, what are they going to be different this time? Like you can be a killer, you like Sikha Projakal, you're a psycho killer, something else, you're doing something else, you know, all those kinds of things. So, but of late, you know, because of the audiences and because of certain other many commercial factors and other things like that, people usually stick within an image. Like there's actors get an image and audiences like that image.
Right.
So today, would you be able to do a Paruthiveeran?
I would.
You would?
Right, yeah.
Like because you know, the guy's a womanizer. You would do it.
Because the climax justifies everything there.
Okay.
There's a beautiful dialogue where Muthaiah says, you know, நீ செஞ்ச பாவம்லாம் என் மேல இறக்கி வச்சிட்டு போயிட்டாங்கடா.
Oh, yeah.
That one thing is enough to justify
all
that you cannot get away. You cannot get away by doing nonsense in this life.
Right.
It will hit you where it really pains you.
Right.
You know, so I think I would still do it.
You would still do it.
I don't think.
Right, because you did Kaatru Veliyidai, which is also a kind of unlikable character.
True.
And a domestic abuser, a psychological abuser. I mean, he doesn't hit her, but he does everything else, you know.
But it's not intentional, you know.
That's
he's
what
he is.
He's messed up.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's quite a brave choice kind of thing.
Again, it's money, sir. It happened. No, when Mani sir says, would you let's do a film. Sir, I want to do a film. Someday when you think I'll fit, please let me know. So then he called me up and he said, let's do this. And he told me it's not the regular guy. You know, he's very different. And we actually discovered the process through shooting. You know, as we filmed, we were discovering that character. He would say, just go one notch high, one notch down. He would take multiple takes. He'll say, no, be little calm, then be little wild. You know, he would take all the options and then he would fit me into that bracket.
Right.
So it was a beautiful process to explore with Mani sir. Right. But every day you're trying to understand that character.
So when you do characters like this, is there something running at the back of your mind, wondering if, will the audience accept me?
Actually, no.
You don't?
All my focus is there is to satisfy my director.
Right.
Like when Paruthiveeran is there, getting a shot right itself is a big thing.
Right.
That itself is a huge applause for you.
Yeah.
Then when he says, okay, might have gone 20 takes. But when he says, okay, itself is such a relief.
Right.
Again, here, I know Mani sir has something in mind. And for me, it is to deliver that to him.
Right.
I was not worried about the audience then. You know, for me, the second day's test was that single shot.
Right.
Sir said, no, this is one scene where...
The one with where you're serving rice and all that kind of stuff. Wow, okay.
So second day. So basically, Mani sir's idea is, he challenges you, gives you the toughest part, so you get into the character as quick as possible. So he says, you have this shot, I have this scene today, you get used to it, I mean, go through the lines. And then I saw there's nobody else talking, only I am talking. Then he said, why not we try as a single shot? So I said, okay sir, we'll try it off. So he gave me the lines and I was going through for 2 hours. Then evening he set up, he told me just 2 actions. You have to serve, you have to sit here and do this. And the rest of the lines, you speak here. We figured out where we want to block each.
Right.
And it was a single shot. So that was the biggest challenge for me. What I've learned all this while was put to test there.
Right.
You know, and I was able to do it. Right in the first go. And I felt, wow, Mani sir said okay for that first shot. But that was quite an experience for me. I'm having like 7 tracks running in my mind. Right. Am I in position? Am I smiling at the right time? Am I giving the correct reaction? Am I challenging my father-in-law enough? You know, all this was happening.
Am I in focus?
Yeah. All that.
Yeah. Even films like Kaithi, for instance, when you choose them, or Sultan, which is strangely one of the films of yours that I really like. You know, the setup is such a beautiful knot. You know,
for me, it was an animation film.
Yeah, it was really such a nice knot. You know, like this guy comes, he's got this bunch of savage family kind of thing, and he's got to somehow, you know, manage one thing. The knot is one of the best commercial film knots I've ever heard.
I'm glad. I'm so glad you felt that.
No, really, it just like it was so good, you know, like such a good knot. There's something within you that or even Dhiran, which is like a very unusual kind of, unusually hard-hitting kind of movie, right? Of course, there is a love track and all that kind of stuff, but frankly, I was just relieved when she fell on a rock, and you know, like, I'm sorry, I'm sounding very cruel, but I'm sounding very cruel right now. But frankly, because I was like, you know, like let's just get on with the story. And then the second half became this amazing, you know, like this full-blown adventure kind of a thing. Sorry, Rahul, but you know, this is like, you know, I just wanted to, you know, get this out of there. But you have some instinct in you that says that wants to be different. Is that what you go after?
I'm only searching for films as an audience, you know, what I would like to see.
Right.
You know, I want very different films to be done, and I want to be part of them.
Right.
So when, like, but each have a different story. Like why I did Dhiran was a different reason. Why I did Kaithi was a different reason. Like Dhiran, for example, I had done research for Surendar.
Okay.
When I did a cop for the first time, though it's a commercial film, That's the first time I'm putting in uniform. And for all the actors, the cop is like a
yeah,
major macho
yeah.
effect. So I wanted to get it right. I want to understand the psyche. I don't want to just repeat what other actors have done before. Like I don't want to ape Kamal sir or Rajini sir. I want to do something. So I met Jangid sir and I had a long chat with them. Then I met Vijay Kumar, another DSP officer, and they all, through their experiences, they all spoke about the Bavaria case. So this happened like 5-6 years back.
Right.
And then Vinod comes back and says, I'm writing a script based on investigation Bavaria. I said, I'm doing it. Even before the script was ready, I said, I'm doing it. But the script was too grim. And I felt, this is too dark because people are going to get scared about what happened, And I said, there should be something to lighten it. Because it was not the times of Kaithi when people were open to watch anything. It was much earlier. Because I know if Thiran comes today, it will be something else. It was little ahead. And I wanted something to soften it. Like, I'm a huge fan of Kaka Kaka, where romance and the action was blended beautifully. So I asked Vinod, please write something to soften this.
Right.
Yeah. Please soften this because I am feeling too dark. I'm not able to take it because the details he had. We were actually trying to cut down as much as possible because it was too scary.
Right.
And still whatever came on screen made so many people scared. And I know so many people who came back from farmhouses and moved into apartments into the city after this film.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
I know so many of my friends, random people who called up and said, because of you I have 3 gates in my house. Because of you we moved away from the beautiful farmhouse to an apartment. Because my wife doesn't feel secure after that film. So basically the idea was to soften it and probably try to evolve a love track where, because every cop has a personal life. It's not just a khaki uniform.
Sure.
Each cop is different. There is different reasons why somebody becomes a cop. It is not only a livelihood or it's not only ambition. There are many reasons why somebody becomes a cop. So that's something we discovered through the process. Through the writing process.
No, I think it is not the love angle as such, but I felt exactly like what you said, like in Kaka Kaka, the love angle is the blend. It's a beautiful blend of the romances at the same pitch as the other thing. It's like they're both of the same. Whereas here, this seemed a little too cute. That was my problem. So hence the.
I'll also take the blame.
No. I mean, I think the idea was in the right place, but I don't know. For just a personal reaction.
Every time you're trying to achieve something good and it places here, it falls here. It's like golf, no? You can't hit it all the time at the right place.
You're a golf player as well.
I just gave an analogy that's all.
Okay. I thought being Maniratham's assistant or AD or
we talk about it.
Okay, so we talked about the films that you pick, right? You're saying that something strikes you and says, I would like to see this as an audience. Now, tell me about your preparation. For example, you said that with Kaatru Veliyidai, you both found the character together. With the Paruthiveeran, Amir was literally molding you from clay. He's literally molding you 20 days. You just spent trying to get into the skin of the character. But now you've been here for 15 years, so you have instincts. Your acting instincts are there. You don't have to worry about the camera. You know where to stand. All that is set. So when you're doing a Viruman, for instance, which at least from the trailer, it seems like a template commercial film, which could turn out to be a nice experience, right? It's
correct.
And I don't mean this with any judgment at all. When I say template, I mean something
the elements
of the film, right? So for this also, is there something that for these films also, do you try something that's maybe something different the way you walk or do you try something?
When I did Komban with Muthaiah, that was the second village film I am doing in my career after Paruthiveeran. So I felt a lot of pressure because one more village film, is the same expectation going to be there? How am I going to feed the audience with something? If they expect something as good as it, what am I going to do? So consciously I wanted to stay away from Paruthiveeran, from the look of it, from the characterization of it. He would want me to do certain things which people have liked me to do. I would stay away from it. I said, no, I am not going to put my vesti above my shorts. Not in this film. Because I didn't even use a lungi in that film. Only vesti in that film. I wanted him to look like this boy who's overgrown, but who's taking care of the village. So deliberately I wanted to stay away from it. But whereas in Viruman I couldn't avoid. He's a badass. He wouldn't care about anybody. He would go and even want to bash his father if he's wrong. He's like that. So I couldn't avoid Paruthiveeran in many of the instances. I would keep asking, are you noticing him? Is he there? So we tried to wear glasses. We tried to wear different kinds of clothes, being in a different color zone. The Paruthiveeran had a very earthy tone. We tried to stay away from it. like not obviously, but unintentionally, not too obvious for like even like Baradwaj Rangan to notice, but something which I know your knowledge, come on. So even so that it is not on the face, but slight differences which doesn't remind. But I couldn't help. There are some shots which I felt it was like bang on Paruthiveeran again.
Right. Which might actually be a nice thing because one hasn't
That's
seen a
what-
Paruthiveeran for so long.
That's what associates said. Associate director said, so it's so nice to see again like that.
Yeah.
I said, all right.
Yeah. Again, at the risk of, seeming like this huge fan, but Paruthiveeran was just like this, one of the most amazing debut films ever. It was like I know you credit Amir for it, but the fact that you were able to pull it off, even with guidance, some people cannot, right? It was like just this phenomenal performance. You and Priyamani, like that combination was just totally wonderful.
It was a Romeo Juliet. Or Romeo Juliet.
It's a Romeo Juliet, yeah. No, but like with that flavor, to get that flavor and to kind of pass it on, it's like, and for an urban, person like you, it's just not the easiest of things.
Because if I didn't have a beard, people wouldn't know me.
Right.
When Paya came, I was still in disguise. People wouldn't know me. I can walk around anywhere.
Right.
Only after Paya released, people knew me like, oh, without beard, you look like this. Okay.
Right. No, but tell me one thing. What is it with this mustache, right? So when you're playing a cop or when you're playing a villager, not when you, but anybody plays a cop or a villager, I think the only exception I have seen is Kamal in Kurdipunal, where he was clean shaven as a cop.
Yeah.
I can't, I was trying to think this morning, has there been any other cop or a villager without a mustache or a beard? And I couldn't think of anything. What is this?
You feel
Is it
naked
bravery?
without a mustache.
Is it bravery or
For
something?
me, it's like you feel naked without a mustache. It's like half of you is not there. I'm not very comfortable. I've always had a mustache. And only when I went to US, people look at you like this when you have a mustache and you don't want to get looks. That's why I had to shave or trim it off so that I try to blend in and don't get looks at me.
Okay.
But after Paruthiveeran with the beard, I had to slowly get people used to my face without facial hair. First step would be to just remove the beard and keep the mustache and go on. So when Mani sir asked me to remove the mustache, I said, sir, are you serious? Do you think people will be able to, bear me on screen without the mustache? But when I lost weight and I shaved, he said, look good, what's wrong with you? And I said, really, sir? But then for the character, I had to look like that. Even now when Sardar, last day, Mithran asked me to shave the mush for one particular scene where it's a spy thriller and I had too many things. And I said, Mithran, are you really serious? I said, sir, you can do it, sir. I know I can do it, but do I have to do it? I said, I don't have advanced CG to remove your facial hair without anything. You have to do it. But now I feel very new without the mustache. And like when there is a cop film which I'm doing after, I've told the director already, I think this cop, to look different from the rest, we have to lose the mustache.
Right.
So like coming here, somewhere I've got the confidence to lose it now.
In an interview long back, you said that after seeing Paruthiveeran, Kamal really liked the film. And he told you that Karthi, from now on, you should only do the films that you really like to do. Something like that. That's kind of...
Not Kamal, sir. I think
not
Maddie had told me that
He
be
told me
selective.
this because the interview said Kamal. So I don't know. I don't know
in what context I had said that.
Yeah.
But Maddie is one person who really told me that, you're very selective in what you do. Follow this.
Right.
Don't be in a hurry to sign films.
Right.
Take your time. Be selective like how you are right now. But he told me this in very early films. Like right after Paya, he told me that I can see that you waited for the second film for 3 years. And you're patient. So stick on to that, he said.
But is that possible?
No, but that's what I've been doing. There are times I've been waiting for 4 months without a good script. Like I was not satisfied and I had to wait. I've done that before also.
Yeah. Are you a narration person or a script reader?
I'd go with the director. Some directors love to narrate. They're very good at narrating. Like Mithran can narrate beautifully. Linguswamy sir can narrate beautifully. Susindran can narrate beautifully. But whereas Ranjit likes me to read because he writes so in detail. Lokesh has a problem narrating, so he'll say, sir, padichiringla sir. So I just go with the director. I don't mind reading, and always I prefer to get a script before we go to shoot because I get everything on paper.
Right.
But again, it still keeps changing on the spot. No,
Right.
like you go, you explore. Probably
yeah.
sometimes you feel it's not punchy enough and you create visually. And we are discovering the film as we film. So it does change on the spot. But at least if we have the main structure, then we're not fumbling with the main structure.
Yeah. Parvati once told me, Parvati Tiruvatu, she once told me that even though people give a narration, she kind of likes to ask for the script. Because she says, I hear the narration in the director's voice. and his enthusiasm is coming through, his energy is coming through. Whereas when I read the script, I'm reading it in my voice.
Yeah.
So I want to know if I'm getting excited at the same points, if I'm getting all those goosebumps at the same points and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I was kind of...
No, for a script, it's not about judging. I think maybe the first read is for judging. The second read is to check whether it is a flow nice for me. Is it flowing well emotionally for me?
Right.
Because I'm not the person who looks for logic. I think I'm the person who looks more for that
emotion,
for the drama inside the film. Like even in Kaithi, I'm looking more for the drama. The action, I know they'll take care. My part is very small. Only the drama is where I can contribute something in the film. So I'm always looking for the drama, and that only in the script you'll get through. Are we having enough moments? We can elaborate the moment. We can make it more deeper while we shoot. But are there spaces for moment? Like when in Thiran, in the interval, after the interval block, the officer says, you step out of this, you've gotten personal into the case, I don't think you can justify it. Then he says his whole story where he says, my father was a cop and one day he left and he never came back. But till today, people, praise me for saying he is that man's son. Now I want to give that same credit to my child, to the unborn child. So that is very, very important. So those are the moments I look for in a film. Do I have it or not? If it is there, we can polish it.
So your training as an AD, would you say, has kind of given you a little bit of an edge in doing this?
I don't know if it's an edge, but it's just the comfort of how things work. How the set works, how a shot is planned, and what is required before they crank the camera. All that has to happen before that. How many things has to be ready? All that. So the entire ambience is not alien to me because I worked as an AD. But each director has their own style.
And what is Muthaiah's style?
So Muthaiah knows exactly what he wants in the scene, and he knows what his character is. So that aspect, like staging wise, is very clear. Like he says, I want you to do this scene as you are feeding this goat. He has all this planned already. He comes with all that preparation, and he's not too particular about correcting your performance, but he wants that manliness. And when it comes to the girl, he spends more time. He says, no, I want this. Here I want her to be strong. Here I want her to be coy. So he knows the differences. And what I really like about him is he's able to pick the right performance in a take. When he feels something has come nonchalant, which is not a planned reaction, he likes that. And he picks it. Sometimes you'll like to perfect that reaction. He would say, no, sir, I like the previous take. You didn't plan it. It just came. And I liked it. So I was very amazed that he has an eye for what performance works for him. So he's like that. And he's very good with music. His taste of music in a village, he picks the right thing. Like this Kanja Poo Kannala, the lyrics, he had already selected the lyric and was holding on to it for 2-3 years. He knew when to use it when he gave to Yuvan. And like his choice of Iliraja sir singing the title song for Viruman. So he has a very nice taste in presenting a film. I mean, in this kind of a film.
So in the 15 years, you've only repeated him as the director. Is there something inside Karthi that goes, I should try to work with a new director each time? Because it's just, it's really surprising because usually...
It didn't happen.
It just happened.
I've done very few films. I do only 2 films a year. So when a director goes off, then for him to come back to me, it takes time. When he comes back, probably I'm in another film. So somehow it didn't fall into place. Whereas this time, Muthaiah waited. Because it was COVID, he waited and he said, no, we'll do this film. So thanks to him that it happened, that he waited and made this happen.
So it's a coincidence.
Absolutely a coincidence. Absolutely. Like we wanted to do Sarpeta. Ranjit and we wanted to, right after Madras, we wanted to Sarpeta, but he had the offer for Kabali. So then there's a great opportunity for him. He said, let him go get some experience and come back. But it took many years for him to come back. By the time he came back with Sarpeta, I had signed Ponniyin Selvan. So like how it misses, It's not intentional, just missed.
Now, when you joined as an AD, you obviously wanted to become a director. That's what you've said in a lot of places. Do you still want to become a director?
Scary.
You don't want to. Now that
that's what my friends around keep pushing me. I said, what are you going to lose? You still have that thing to do it. I said, yeah, but something should be so compelling for me to direct. I just don't want to have it in my filmography. You know what I mean? That should be so compelling that I really want to get it done. Something like that. So only when that happens, I think it has to come from within, or it has to be an inspiration from outside. I think recently I got one small gem for a fantasy film.
Nice.
That's very exciting. So instead of just another film, that idea was very interesting to me. And all my friends said, let's start writing. Let's start breaking our heads over it and see how it pans out. Sometimes some things get stuck. Sometimes it flows. So let's start exploring this idea. This idea seems interesting. Why not explore it?
Nice. Karthi directing a fantasy film.
Not yet. Just a germ.
Yeah. One film that comes to mind is always is like unbased film. When people say, like today they say, I don't know why this film didn't, run well or something. Well, it didn't run well because you didn't go to theaters at that time. This is kind of a thing. But I think it's also the evolution, right? It's like so today when it's Aayirathil Oruvan is re-released, it's going houseful at whichever theater it's gone. So that's kind of but I think the sequel's not really happening, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know when it will happen.
Too much time, to kind of
to bring everybody back. I really don't know. Selva keeps saying now. Selva suddenly said, no, you're asking the question to me. I'm going to put this question to Karthi. Let him answer it. Anyway, he's a writer. But still, I think to take myself back into that, I don't think I'm ready for it yet.
Right. And Aayirathil Oruvan brings me back to that question I've been asking, I think, from the beginning, which is like, your choices remain interesting within your early choices. Even Upari is not a typical choice because you're a very soft character there, whereas most Tamil heroes, they try to get at least some macho kind of things. That's such a soft movie. It was released as Thora, right? It is like and even Aayirathil Oruvan. You're a pretty galeej guy. It's like you're not really it's not something that you expect like a newcomer actor to do, because almost everybody like take Maddie. You just spoke about Maddie. It's like it's Alepaide, Minnale. So you're trying to. I mean, of course they had that. Those are not bad films or anything like that. But there's a certain safety in saying I'm going to do a romance and I'm going to do something, whereas you have kind of from the first kind of done that. Is that again coming from the place of saying, as an audience, I would like to keep pushing, like certain things, because it's not that you've not done the other kind of films as well, but in your filmography, we find a little more of that, trying to be a little away at times. You're going to say, is that also a coincidence?
First, I'm getting an opportunity to select something like that. I'm being offered that. I don't want to let go of a good script. That's what I always keep thinking. Have I let go of something really good that came by? No.
Okay.
Mostly I've held on to something which is really good. Like Thoda, I didn't really have time. It was just an obligation to go and listen to the narration and say, I'm really sorry, I don't have time. But after the narration, I couldn't say no. It was so well written. It was hilarious. It was so emotional. I couldn't say no to it. So I think I've gone only by instincts, but it's also that I don't want to just do anything and go by it. I want that experience to be special. I want to feel good when I'm presenting the film to people. So if it's a commercial film or if it is a special film, anything, it has to satisfy me somewhere. My senses as an actor, as an audience. And that's how I've been going. Like Aayirathil Oruvan, I knew he's trying to do something big. And without a support from actors, how can he achieve that? So this thing of the assistant director comes there, where he says, you want to support that vision, want something big to happen here. Like again, Ponniyin Selvan, you want something big to happen in Tamil cinema. If you can be a part of it, you can help it to happen, I will do it.
You remember how Kamal did this, he would do a Tenali and then he'll do a serious movie and then he'll do a Panchatantram and then he'll do a serious movie. It's almost like he's saying, I'm doing one film for myself and one film for the audience.
I'm not
is it that? I'm not comparing, but is it something like that, saying that that those
it just goes with what comes to me
so
and how I'm reacting to it. Like a script comes to me, somebody says it's nice, would you like to hear it? I said, let me hear it. Let me see how I react to it. And then I take it from there. Sometimes I like a filmmaker's work, I want to work with them. If I like the idea, I jump into it. Even if I love the filmmaker, if there is an idea which I cannot relate with it, I don't think I can work with them. So
I don't want you to name names, but are there filmmakers that you've approached, like you've said that everything has been offered to you, but like you watch a movie and you say, wow, this is such an amazing movie and this director has done such a great job. Are there filmmakers that you've approached?
When I work with someone, there should be at least one film of theirs which I really liked. Otherwise, I cannot relate with the sensibility of the director. But if of so many years, if one director whom I asked, do you have any script, was Rajamurugan, whom I'm working with next. So he said, sir, nobody has ever asked me for a script. I said, even I have not asked anyone for a script. I really like your work. I really like your his first book, the Vatti Mudalam. If you had read that book, It's a collection of articles. His take on life, or is the way he looks at life and the way he writes about it is like stunning. And when I saw his Joker, he pitched the idea to me, but it was not formulated then. It was very vague when he brought it to me, and I couldn't understand it. Actually, I couldn't understand it. So then he made that film. It was something different in Tamil cinema. And I saw Cuckoo and the sense of music, his humor, his satire, I really like. And I thought he could make a good film. And I wanted to work with him. And I think this is first time after Manisa, because Manisa is one person, I went and said, sir, if at all, any role you want me to do, I would do it. Because until then, I have not told him that. So he wouldn't know whether I would want to do it. Manisa is someone who would never take you for granted. He would never call you and ask you to do something unless you want to do it. So I went and spoke to Manisa, said, please call me. I think after that, I think Rajamurugan was first time I said, do you have a script? Can you write something for me? And it's written now. So I'm very happy he wrote it.
Is it happening?
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. Okay. What was the toughest role for you? I mean, apart from Paruthiveeran.
Kaatru Veliyidai.
Yeah? Why?
I couldn't even understand that part. You know, I remember the art director, Mr. Roy, she said, why is Manisa even making this film? This character is so bad. You know, that's what was the reaction. And Manisa was making the film. And we were trying to shoot. Manisa told me that if you're not comfortable doing something, tell me. So don't just do it because I asked you to do it. He knows that I respect him so much that I would blindly do it. He said, don't do it if you're not comfortable. I said, yes, sir. And after 2-3 days of shoot, I was still trying to figure out, am I getting it right? The second day, like I told you, that 6-minute single shot scene, we got it right. And then the next day, I'm fumbling again with some other scene. I just didn't know where to anchor this character. I did my research, but still, like, Manisa was asking something. He was pushing me here, pushing me there. I was feeling lost. But after 4 days of shoot, the first time Sharmita said, no, I really hated this character, but I'm liking this guy. She said, that's when I found a little relief. But every day, it was not easy to crack that character, to understand. He would make me do 3 different takes, 3 different things. So it was new to me, but I learned so much.
Did you expect Kaithi to have such an afterlife actually? Because I think pretty much the fact that it would be a hit was pretty much known. I think that much people knew. When you saw it, it was like, you know, there. But it's now taken a life of its own. It's like, you know, like even your voice coming in another movie. And back then, of course, at the end of Kaithi, you kind of know that there is the possibility of a sequel because they're going on the road and, you know, it's like kind of, you're not really closing the character. And plus, you have that, he's saying, I know him and kind of thing. So, you know, there is that sequel. But now the sequel is going to become enormous simply because of the expectations riding on it. Because of not just Kaithi, but also because of Vikram and all these kind of things. Is that making you a little nervous?
No, I'm very excited about it. Okay. Because I think we get along well. Lokesh and me, we get along well. And we also want to push the bracket.
Right.
We are going to explore. People have given us the space to go ahead and bring it, hit us and do something, you know. Like when I did that film, I know every day we were not trying to do the usual. I kept telling him, no, don't give me the usual shots. Don't worry about my close-up. Just play, enjoy it. Finish a scene in a wide. You don't have to cut close to me. Just have fun, you know. That's what we spoke to every technician. Just, you know, take it as your portfolio film for stunts. Do whatever you want to do. That's how we enjoyed making Kaithi. But when I did the climax, I told Lokesh, this is a special film. After the climax we shot, I said, this is really, sir. He was also asking me, so do you feel so, do you feel so? I said, yeah, I really feel it's a special film. You know, an actor cannot get both these dimensions in one film to be as macho as possible and then completely crumble in one scene. I just said this is something special. But like you said, this being spoken about and then again going high after Vikram is not expected.
You can't plan these things.
No, that's why film is a magic always.
Right. So my last question is partly to you is partly why we're doing this movie in English is, you know, it's, you know, Dulquer just had a huge hit in Telugu with Sita Ramam. He's acted in Hindi films. Fahad is doing Tamil films. He's doing Telugu films. There's a Hindi crossover happening. But you have primarily stuck to Tamil and Telugu. Do you have, you know, like, do you want more audiences to know you? Are you?
I think already people are knowing us. People are knowing us. I went to Kashmir with my family, and I was somewhere in one Pahalgam, some corner, and people said Kashmora. So it's like the language barrier is like, though you keep saying a language, film has no language barrier, it's literally broken. Like you can see people there. Like I go to Kulu Manali for shoot, all the Nepalis knew me there. They said, Thiran, Thiran, they knew me there. So
Right.
the language is not going to make a difference now.
They-
But like
and
you
they
said,
had seen a
working-
dubbed version?
Yes, all the Hindi dubbed versions. So they are watching our films. So I think language is not a barrier. But like you said, working with different cultures, probably working with some international film, like a Polish film or an African film, like where they don't know you. I think that would be something more exciting to me than people wanting me for the star value or the market value you have.
Right.
But just for the way you can do things.
Right, right.
If I can do something international, then that would probably excite me more.
Yeah, no, actually, one of the things that like everybody's saying, Dhanush has had the coolest role in The Grey Man because his I don't know if you've seen
I'm
the
not
film.
saying, I'm not
Okay, but because his is the only assassin that really registered and is kind of going forward, and it's so cool to see a Tamil actor go international. Not that there are borders for acting, but it's so cool that people are looking towards India and
casting people
from here. So hopefully that happens to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and all the best for Viruman.
Thank you, Madhavan. Nice talking to you.